All right, guys, so welcome back to another episode of Ravens Reports, man. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock. As always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Ravens today. So I was out of town the last few days, haven't had a chance to upload, but man, we're back. Our Baltimore Ravens coming fresh off that bye week. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Todd Monken, Roquan Smith, and others all address the media. We're going to break that down, plus the Ravens' final 4 games before it's officially playoff time, man. The Ravens, they're going to have 3 games within 11 days. Then they're going to have 10 days off, 1 game against the Browns, and then it's playoff time, baby. So we also got Odell Beckham Jr. that was just released by the Dolphins. We're going to talk about if the Ravens should pursue Odell, if he clears waivers, and talk about what the Ravens should do with Deontay Johnson, man. But let's go ahead and just check out the schedule real quick. The final 4 games for the Baltimore Ravens. So what matters is getting hot, getting into the dance, and anything can happen, baby. But as of right now, the Baltimore Ravens have a 97% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose to the Giants, that percentage drops to 88%. But if they win, it goes up 1 more percentage to 98. And the Baltimore Ravens are currently holding the 5 seed in the playoff tournament and would play the Houston Texans on the road in the first round of the wild card playoffs. So the Baltimore Ravens, they have the Giants this Sunday, 1 o'clock in New York. Then the following week, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers for a massive game that could determine the division for the AFC North title. That's at 4:30 on a Saturday in Baltimore. Then we have the Houston Texans, Christmas Day away in Houston, and then wrap off the season with 10 days off. Then a game against the Browns at home at the bank, and then it's playoff time, baby. And at number 1, man, I need you guys to see this. Derrick Henry, who was brought here for December and January football. Let's just call it what it is, man. I need you guys to see these stats. Our guy Cole Jackson put it out there on X. September, Derrick Henry averages 4.18 yards a carry. It bumps up to 4.83 in October, 4.95 in November, and then he gets the best later in the season. The most touchdowns, the most amount of yards per carry. When it gets cold out, guys get tired of tackling Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, we know, is built different as far as, his endurance, his strength, how he gets rolling as the game goes on. He can break the defense's back. He's so hard to take down consistently, down in and down out, man. He does not go down with arm tackles. He's so strong. He has a stiff arm, running through contact. His contact balance is incredible, but he can also break your back with the big, long runs. And Derrick Henry, he was, make no mistake about it, man, he was brought here for December and January football. What he's done so far has been great. But the real reason Derrick Henry was brought in here was to help carry this load for this Ravens offense and Lamar Jackson, to really punish a team when it gets cold out December, January football. So let's see what that looks like. Here's what Derrick Henry had to say coming off the bye week.
I don't know. I think players I played with doing a great job and, them making my job easier. For me to do my job, the guys up front, they have to do a great job. And, credit to, that. That's happened in the past, but just focus on it right now. I know that it's similar history, but I'm just focused on me playing better, being better, and being the best player I can to help this team.
As you come back from the bye, how would you kind of describe the team's mindset going into these final 4 games of the regular season?
Yeah, everybody's energized. Everybody's glad to be back. Had a great bye week. You'll be able to reset, and I know we definitely miss playing football, but great to be back, flying around, and you're ready to play this week.
At number 2, some other great news on the bye week is that the Ravens have a full, healthy practice attendance. Every single player was a full participant in practice, man. There was no one that is on the sideline. The Ravens are fully healthy right now. Not that guys are 100% all across the board, but everyone's at least participating in practice, which is great news for the Baltimore Ravens. I foresee Michael Pierce coming off the IR here very soon. Obviously, a big one here is Rashad Bateman being a full go coming off that injury where he left the game early against the Philadelphia Eagles before the whole Deontay Johnson, debacle. And at number 3, let's talk about that. Let's talk about wide receiver options because, earlier in the year, we talked about what's the backup plan if Rashad or Zay goes down during a game. We had a little bit of a scare with a Zay Flowers' ankle earlier in the year. Suddenly, Bateman was the number 1 receiver in that scenario. And then Nelly and Tylan Wallace are your number 2 and number 3. So if Bate goes down, Zay's the 1, and then Nelly's the 2. Tylan's the 3. That was without Deontay Johnson, which is why I was a huge fan of the Ravens bringing in Deontay Johnson. But then, whenever he had a chance to play against the Eagles, he refused to go into the game, and he's dealing with a 1-game suspension. He will not play. He will not practice this week in preparation for the Giants. He will not go, and he will not play in New York, which kind of puts up a big question mark. Will he play, moving forward? Is he going to refuse to go in again? How's he feeling about the suspension? Are they on the same terms now? What's going to go on with Deontay Johnson? Even if he doesn't want to play, do you really think the Ravens would risk releasing him and then him going to a playoff contender right before the playoffs? Imagine he goes, to Kansas City or Buffalo or Houston. One of these teams the Ravens could see in the postseason. He's a talented receiver, so you definitely don't want that to be the case either. So it's kind of complicated, but it leaves a lot of people talking because Odell Beckham Jr. was just released by the Miami Dolphins. They mutually agreed to part ways, and Odell has done absolutely nothing this season with the Dolphins. People are saying he's completely washed. I don't know the situation there. I haven't watched a lot of Odell to see how he's looking in and out of his routes and breaks and all that stuff, but I do know that he's a natural leader, and he brings a lot of vibes to Baltimore. And, I would be curious to see if the Ravens would be interested to bring him back, to have more depth at the wide receiver position. At this point, do you think he would be more productive than Nelson Aguilar or Tylan Wallace? It's a legitimate question because he hasn't produced much this season, but just a season ago here with the Ravens on the great run where the Ravens were 14-3, the number 1 seed, went to the AFC Championship. He was a quality producing wide receiver, over 500 yards of production, a couple of touchdowns, made some key catches on 3rd down and stuff. So definitely something worth looking into. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section below. At number 4, check out what Roquan Smith had to say getting ready for this playoff run and how he's feeling coming off this bye week.
We're excited about this run we're about to make, and it starts this week with New York, so excited about the opportunity. Treat it like the playoffs. Treat it like the playoffs each and every game, each and every play. Treat it like it's your last, because it very well could be, regardless of how you want to approach it, knowing that there are other games that are guaranteed, but you're not guaranteed another play. Anything can happen. So just having that type of mindset and play with no governor, no ceiling on yourself, each and every guy, and the sky's the limit.
I think if the Ravens are really going to go on a run, which they're absolutely capable of, Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton is going to have to be at the center of it. You're going to have your all-pro stars playing like all-pro stars, carrying the defense with their leadership, their grit, and their playmaking ability. Roquan Smith has the capability of breaking a game open, of getting the whole defense fired up and juiced up, tackles for loss, forced fumbles, interceptions. We've seen it all here in Baltimore. It hasn't been as consistent this year. There's been some coverage struggles and stuff, but the last few games I thought he's played very well. Specifically, he was playing like a maniac against Pittsburgh before he had that hamstring injury. But Roquan Smith getting that bye week, getting healthy, rested up, and then Kyle Hamilton, I think this Ravens team can absolutely go on a run. Kyle Hamilton mentioned that, last year they didn't have a lot of adversity, but this year the Ravens have had some adversity, and he thinks that's going to make them better heading into the playoffs. At number 5, the offense has kind of fizzled out a little bit the last few weeks. This is still the number 1 offense in football right now in yards per game and a ton of other categories as well. They're top 5 in rushing, top 5 in passing, top 5 in scoring, yards per play, EPA, all of it. The Ravens offense on the season is still historically high. However, they've fizzled out a little bit, as far as scoring points the last few weeks that, albeit, against a very, very strong Eagles defense, probably the best defense in the NFL right now. But part of that is, I think, was some predictability as far as formations and tendencies. It's almost, I said this before, but every time Justice Hill is on the field, it's probably going to be a pass play. There are some tendencies as far as, the formations that we, the type of runs that we run out of certain formations with Derrick Henry. And the Ravens had a chance to self-scout. Here's what Todd Monken had to say on self-scouting to kind of avoid some predictability.
And a few nuggets. I mean, our coaches do a great job each week trying to self-scout ourselves, but there's a few things that come up that, you know, when you have a little bit more extended time that you're able to look at and say, okay, we can be better here, whether it's calling it, preparation, concepts, whatever it might be.
All right, guys, so do you think the Baltimore Ravens will finish off the season with 4 straight wins against the Giants, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Cleveland Browns? I think it's very possible the Ravens finish off the season 12-5. Also very possible that they host a playoff game. If they win this division, Steelers got to play the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. Could very well drop a few games here, even though the Ravens are a few games behind Pittsburgh right now. Very possible the Ravens could still walk away with this division, man. As always, smash the like button if you enjoyed today's content. If you got any value, man, let me know all your thoughts in the comments section below. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.